Hello, good evening. I am back. I took a couple days off. Just was staying up really late and didn't have much time to read. But here we go. We are starting with The Magpie's Treasure. One day, when the sun made everything that glitters glitter, and everything that sparkles sparkle, a magpie picked up something from a gutter and carried it off to her nest. A crow and a rabbit had seen her swoop down and fly away, and each decided she had found something good to eat. "I'm sure it's a carrot," said the rabbit, "for I heard her say something about carrots." "I saw it glitter," said the crow, "and it glittered edibly, like a yellow grain of corn." "Corn is for the commoner," said the rabbit scornfully. "You can have your carrots, and welcome to them," said the crow. They smacked their lips as they approached the magpie's nest. "I'll find out what she's got," said the crow. "If it's a grain of corn, I'll eat it. If it's a carrot, I'll throw it down to you." So the crow flew to the edge of the magpie's nest, while the rabbit waited below. The magpie happily showed the crow what she had found in the gutter. "It's a 14-carat diamond, set in golden ring," she said. "I wanted rings from the time I could fly, but my parents were worm collectors. If I had my way, I'd be a wealthy bird today, surrounded by rings and other lovely things." "You are living in the pluperfect subjunction," said the crow disdainfully. "It's serene there, and never crowded, except for old regrets," the magpie said. The crow dropped down to the ground, and explained to the rabbit that the carrots that Magpie had talked about were only carrots. "1 carrot is worth 14 carrots," said the rabbit. "You can multiply that by 20, and it will still be true." "If I can't eat it, I don't want it," said the crow. "Seeing is deceiving. It's eating that's believing." And the crow and the rabbit swallowed their disappointment for want of anything else, and left the magpie to the enjoyment of her treasure. The light made everything that sparkles sparkle, and everything that glitters glitter, and the magpie was content until the setting of the sun. Chacun a son goat is a very true, but why should we despise the apples of others' eyes? I really like that. Oh, the French translates to each his own taste. Chacun a son goat. Try and remember that. The cricket and the wren. At a music festival, one summer in Tangletail Wood, a score of soloists came together to compete for an annual Peacock Awards. The cricket was asked to pick the winner because of his fame as a fiddler and his many appearances on radio, where he is employed to let audiences know when it is night. The cricket was met at the station of the wren, who flew to an inn, brought him a drink, carried his bags upstairs to his room, and was in general so courteous and attentive that the cricket thought it was a proprietor of the inn. "I am not the proprietor, but the competitor," said the wren. "It is a great honor to be judged by you, even if I should lose, than to win the highest award from a lesser critic in cricket. As small tokens of my esteem, here are a bottle of wine and a cherry pie, and the key to the boudoir of as charming a lady cricket as you would attract in a year of chirping." That afternoon, the wren flew the cricket out to concert field, where he heard the frog scrape his cello, the lark below his clarion trumpet, the nightingale strumming his lyre of gold, the blackbird play his boxwood flute, the catbird run his bright piano arpeggios, and the partridge show off his drums. The vocalist came next, beginning with the canary, a temperamental visitor from abroad who had sat up all night bragging of his ability, and was as a consequence in lousy voice. The owl could do better than that, even if all he can sing is, "Who?" said the wren, who had slipped quietly into a chair next to the crickets. He gave the cricket a cigar, a light, and a swig from a flask. "I shall sing a group of lighter," said the wren. "All of them, Henley's. Take, dear, this little sheaf of songs. I composed the song myself, and dedicated it to my mate and to you." The mockingbird sang next, and those in the audience who hoped the amiable wren would win with his bright little group of songs, all of them the same song, began to worry, for the mockingbird had slept all night, dreaming of victory, and as a consequence was in heavenly voice. "I should say his tongue is sharp rather than sweet," whispered the wren. "When I told him last night that you were a finer fiddler than all the finest fiddlers in the field, he remarked that, to him, you looked like a limousine come a grief at an intersection." The cricket rubbed his legs together angrily, producing two low, ominous notes. "In my opinion," the wren went on, "you look like a shining piece of mechanism, handsome and authoritative, such as the trigger action of a colt. Here is a lozenge for your cough, and a pillow for your chair, and a footstool for your feet." When it came time for the wren to sing, his group of songs, all of them the same song, delighted everybody in the audience except the other soloists and their friends and families. "I could do better than that," sneered the mockingbird with my beak closed. "I have thrashed singers with voices 10 times better than that," said the brown thrasher. "Got a mimel," cried the canary. Klingt wie ein rostiges, eternes Tor, das gibt werden muss." In awarding first prize to the wren, the cricket said, "In part and in parting, his voice is like some bright piece of mechanism, such as the works of a golden music box, and he gives his group of one song an infinite variety. The artist has a keen appreciation of values and a fine critical perception. In departing, or, to be precise, escaping from the music festival, the cricket was fortunate enough to have at its disposal a private airplane, none other than the victorious wren himself." Moral: it is not always more blessed to give than to receive, but it is frequently more rewarding. The Crow and the Scarecrow. Once upon a farm, an armada of crows descended like the wolf on the fold. They were after the seeds in the garden and the corn in the field. The crows posted sentinels, who warned them of the approach of the farmer, and they even had an undercover crow or two who mingled with the chickens in the barnyard and the pigeons on the roof, and found out that the farmer's plans in advance. Thus, they were able to raid the garden and the field when he was away, and they stayed hidden when he was at home. The farmer decided to build a scarecrow so terrifying it would scare the hateful crows to death when they got a good look at it. But the scarecrow, for all the work the farmer put into it, didn't frighten even the youngest and most fluttery female. The marauders knew that the scarecrow was a suit of old clothes stuffed with straw, and that what it held in its wooden hand was not a rifle, but only a curtain rod. As more and more corn and more seeds disappeared, the farmer became more and more eager for vengeance. One night, he made himself up to look like a scarecrow, and in the dark, for it was a moonless night, his son helped him to take the place of the scarecrow. This time, however, the hand that held the gun was not made of wood, and the gun was not an unloaded curtain rod, but a double-barreled 12-gauge Winchester. Dawn broke that morning, with a sound like 1,000 tin pans falling. This was the rebel yell of the crows coming down on the field and garden like Jeb Stuart's cavalry. Now, one of the young crows who had been out all night drinking corn instead of eating it suddenly went into a tailspin, plunged into a bucket of red paint that was standing near the burnt barn, and burst into flames. The farmer was just about to blaze away at the squadron of crows with both barrels, when the one that was on fire headed straight for him. The sight of a red crow dipping that seemed to be blood, the flaring like a Halloween torch, gave the living scarecrow such a shock that he dropped dead in one beat less than the tick of a watch, which is the way we all want to go. Mutatus. It need scarcely be said. Mutandus. The next Sunday, the parson preached a disconsolate sermon denouncing drink, carries on, adult delinquency, front page marriages, golf on Sunday, adultery, careless handling of firearms, and cruelty to our feathered friends. After the sermon, the dead farmer's wife explained to the preacher what had really happened, but he only shook his head and murmured skeptically, confused indeed would be the time in which the crow scares the scarecrow and becomes the scarecrow. Moral: all men kill the thing they hate, too, unless, of course, it kills them first. That will be it for tonight. I hope you sleep well, and I'll see you tomorrow.